Hey guys, it's Hobo Dino, just making a quick video. I saw the director's take, little sneak peek from Aaron this week about the 6v6. I just wanted to make sort of nice, quick, unedited video on my opinions of 6v6 and how 5v5, in my honest opinion, is the better shout for the current balance of the game. We know, obviously, from Overwatch 1, 6v6, I think, is a totally different game from Overwatch 2. Right now, sort of, as you can see in the background, just a game from my Twitch, which you'll be able to see at twitch.tv/hobodino. I think overall, Tank is sort of in a bad position right now. Tank needs to be reevaluated, but I don't think in a way we should reevaluate adding another tank back in. I know that people want it back. Right now, as you can see in the clip, it's just Xayah v Diva. I'm countering, and then later on, I imagine, if I remember correctly, Diva will just swap into a different tank to counter me. And at that point, for a tank player, it's not very fun. And being fun is the essential part of the game. You don't want to play a tank and have to swap before you ult and then swap before you ult again because you've went Xayah, they went Diva. That Diva then swaps to Winston, so you got Diva. It's sort of just a hot game of rock, paper, scissors. And it's not very fun at all knowing that that's the fact. But I think overall, from a standpoint of 5v5, it's a good point to be in within the game. 6v6 was horrible. I think, in a sense, people just want Overwatch 1, the sense of Overwatch 1, the release of Overwatch 1 back. That's not going to happen. I don't think people want to play 6v6 knowing that you're going to come up against a Sigma or a Rhine and you're going to have to shoot 2,000 points worth of damage back into them. I just think overall, the state of the tanks, you need to tweak it a little bit. The passive has sort of helped a little bit with the lack of headshot damage to tanks. But, it's not really survivability that's the issue. You come up against a support and a support can just take you out because their damage is so much higher. I say survivability is a bit of a struggle, but as it goes through, I'm thinking 5v5 when Overwatch 2 came out was nice and fresh. Not as many shields. Tanks were pretty strong. I remember in the early stage of Overwatch 2, we were going through this whole case of counter swap because tanks were in a sort of position where you could swap between, I'd pick Xayah, Diva, would then swap. I think, we're getting into that case again. I know recently, the past few seasons, we have seen Orisa, Mauga, those two sort of overtake the main tank role. And for me as a tank player, I don't enjoy playing Orisa. I mean, she's fun against squishies when you javelin them straight into a wall and kill them within 2 seconds. But Mauga to play against is not fun. As a tank, you're not exactly trying to counter pick. At that point, it's Mauga v Mauga. There's nothing really as a tank you can do to counter Mauga, which sort of counteracts the fact that you're playing sort of counter watch instead of just playing Overwatch with your favourite characters. But Mauga just is not good for the game. You're bringing in all these heroes that have their self-heal. You bring Venture in, they have they dig into the hole, they gain some over health. You've got Mauga who then can heal himself as well. You're falling into this pit of giving healers or supports, no real initiative to heal or pocket which in a sense is fine because supports are quite overpowered. But right now, that means that that DPS that they have is just horrible. They don't have to focus on Adventure who's flanking because they know that they can just burrow into the floor, get some health from that, come back and then heal them after. So the roles and the kind of people they're bringing into the game, especially with Mauga, I think Mauga was the real big turning point. I don't mind Orisa on a point because she has a lot of counters. You play Zarya into her, play D.Va into her, play Junker Queen into her, sort of get those close range or poke heroes where you're able to take advantage of that lack of mobility. She has counters, whereas Mauga, he has that long range where you're able to then just crit people from far away. It's just horrible to play against. But in the sense of 5v5, you bring 6v6 into it, you're not going to be able to, tanks are going to become a bit more, you've got your counter swaps and stuff like that. But 6v6 overall, I don't think is the band-aid fix to this whole problem. I think you need to then take into account healing numbers, healing abilities, sort of sustainability within tanks. I think you've sort of not got that with the tanks right now. You get chucked in the head by a Widow once, you're sort of down to half health. I know that's a mispractice within play, you shouldn't be able to do that. But in a way, 5v5 is not going to solve any sort of problem within Overwatch. All the deep-rooted problems come with sort of the healing aspect, the supports, how DPS are able to be so strong against tanks, how they're able to heal themselves. I think they've cornered themselves within a hole, and I know that with this director cut, he talked about the new hero not having sort of that self-sustain and the ability and they'll have a lot of mobility. I believe from what we've said and seen, it's sort of going to be a sort of Lucio hero, which more beckons towards support rather than heal, which is fun because there's enough healing within the game already that you're able to sort of push the ball out, bring a mobility hero into the equation. With supports, the need to have diversity and not just play one dimension of heal or support or damage. You've got your Moiras, your Baptistes, that sort of hybrid between them. But yeah, I think overall, the conversations to have within the game, it's very hard to justify bringing 6v6 in when you balance this game to be 5v5. But yeah, I hope that, you guys have sort of enjoyed this breakdown of my opinions. I can go into more depth, obviously, in the future when the director cut comes out. I just wanted to sort of make a video right now to try and break that down. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And make sure you hit up my Twitch in the future, which is at twitch.tv/OvoDino. I'll see you guys in a bit.